Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we are going to continue the Scarlet and Violet tier list by doing the Paradox Rift illustration rares tier list, where we look at both the regular illustration rares and special illustration rares and put them in a tier list. Now, the last two, of course, were very small illustration rare sets overall. Obsidian Flames and 151 really didn't have that many overall. This one, we're back to a normal set, so we got a lot of illustration rares, so we're going to try to talk about these somewhat quick so this video is not over 40 minutes long. So let's get started with the Crustle. Now the Crustle, of course, is one that, this isn't the one that people think about now, right? If you play the card game, there is a Crustle that you think about. This is not that one because there's one that has a really funny ability where it can't take damage from EX Pokemon. So this artwork isn't really that iconic, whereas the other one that has the ability is actually pretty known. Overall, this is still a really nice one. Having the Crustle, of course, in the little cave in the background where they all, kind of form like this weird shape with it is honestly pretty funny. Having them just fit in as being rocks is nice. Overall, though, I think this is a pretty simple one. I don't think this is obscenely good. I think this is a solid B tier one. It's above average, right? Average is C. I think it's above average. I wouldn't call it good. I wouldn't call it average. I think it deserves that. Now we have Dottler. Dottler. This is one of those Pokemon that I always forget about him. But in terms of this artwork, it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of it overall. I'm just not. Like, yes, having the four of them together and having only one of them see their face is nice. Of course, having two of them where, you could think for a split second it might not be a Pokemon for a split second, until you realize, like, yeah, of course it is. The little cityscape in the background is nice, but I don't feel like this is like, we talked about the Giovanni's Charisma on the last episode of this, where it made sense to have a cityscape in the background. This one, it kind of just feels like it's there. In a weird way. I understand, it talks about the modern day outside world and all that. I'm not the hugest fan of this artwork. I think this is okay. I think it's C tier. It is still a very unique overall artwork with the style. So I'm going to put it in C tier. I'm just not the biggest fan of it. Now we have the Toedscruel. Compared to the Toedscruel that we talked about, like Scarlet and Violet, this is much better. The Toedscruel was such a boring, just random stuff thrown on it. This one makes sense. I mean, you have random Toedscruel just in the back, or Toedscruel just everywhere. And it just makes this really, eerie look, honestly. Having them be everywhere. You see them far in the background on the trees, on the vines of the trees. The ones, of course, in the foreground. It's another nice one. I don't think this is a great one, but I think it's another good one. I think it deserves B tier as well. Now, Magby. Simple, but as we've seen with a lot of these baby ones, they're more simple, and it works for being a baby Pokemon. Yes, it has the thing where you can easily just take the top half of this card and then boom, you have, a regular card artwork. But this one has a much more illustration feel than other ones where that's a huge issue. Right, like the Nidoking we talked about last time. The Nidoking was one where you could legitimately just take the top half and it looks like a normal card. This one would still look like an illustration. Because of how it's done, it looks really nice. Having the Magby not be perfectly colored in the sense of it's just pure red, pure black, pure yellow, actually works really well with making this look solid. I think this definitely is a solid one. I think this is the best of the four we've talked about. Putting it in A tier. It's definitely a lower A, but it's still an A tier. Iron Moth, of course, the future version of Volcarona. Because this set was the one that introduced Paradox Pokemon. The other big change that happened in this generation. Of course, the first one was, of course, Terastallization, which we saw cards of that one. But this one was the future or past or ancient Pokemon. As for this one, it's okay, honestly. I think that, it's one of those where it's just, to me, I don't know what it is. I'm just not the hugest fan, or the biggest fan of this one. I think that it is nice having that background of all the different colors and everything out there. But I think overall, it's just not the greatest to me. I think this is an average one. I'm going to put it at C tier. Snorunt. It's a cute one. This is one of those where a single detail being added makes this fit. Having the little snow angel look of the Snorunt or it falling down at the bottom right of the card is perfect. If you don't have that, this is easily at max C possible D tier because the bottom half is legit pointless. But because you have that one detail, it looks like it fits. And that's what you want. You have the snowball. You have it falling. You have it roll. It looks so much better just having that one little piece there. Having that imprint of Snorunt automatically jumps it up to a B tier in my opinion. Because overall, it's not the most intriguing thing of everything going on, but it doesn't have to be. Having that part right there puts it at B tier. Now we have Mantike. This is a pretty nice one, honestly. This is one that fits really well. Even though it's a baby and it's not the simple one, this one works. The fact that you have this, submarine being down there, you have this guy, doing stuff and this researching a Mantike, and then boom, Mantike is right there. It's such a nice one. It doesn't have to be the focal point, and this is one of those where it works really well. There are some times where having the Pokemon not be the focal point works really well, and this is one of those. I think this is another great artwork, another great baby artwork. A tier. This is a higher A tier than this one. I don't think it's S tier, but it's close. So, A tier. Now we have Vanillish. This is a cute one. Like, this is another one where I'm smiling just looking at it. This is like the Fido we talked about a few episodes ago. This is a really nice one. It's so simple. Having it be, around all this ice cream, being there, it makes a lot of sense. It's such a cute artwork. I honestly think this deserves S tier. Like, this is one of those where it's just such a cute card to look at, and giving any sort of emotion is such a big deal. So I think S tier is where this one belongs. Now we have the Wimpod. I don't know exactly what to think of this one. Now again, it's one of those where the Pokédex entry makes it, or the Pokédex part at the bottom right makes sense. Of course, being together to look out for danger. Them just being all around this, what looks like the bottom of a boat or an abandoned building or something. It's nice. I don't think this is an incredible one. There's a reason I don't think many people remember it. I think it's a C tier one. Overall, though, starting off pretty solid. Nothing really in the D or F tier. Let's see if we can continue that trend, because now we have the Veluza. Veluza, this is the Pokemon that I think most of us really hate in the games, because it's the one where you're just minding your business and it just shoots straight at you while you're, riding Koraidon or Miraidon. But in terms of this overall artwork, it's honestly pretty nice. It really is. Having this just huge group of them all going in a straight line, having it just look the way it is so nice. And then having that note look like this one's using its psychic powers, the random Staryu being there, it honestly looks really cool. This is a really cool artwork. This is another one that gets the A tier. Really, really solid, continuing this trend of this set being really solid. Now you have Plusle. This is what we love to see. This is a tough one, because this is one where is it S tier or is it A tier? Because if this was, let's say, a tag team card and they had this artwork that will go with the other one, easy S. But nah, I'm putting an S anyway. This goes in S tier. And why? Well, because of the Minun. This is what makes it so good. You have the Plusle and the Minun, both with what's to be their trainer or brothers, in the background. And they're both having the same overall expression. And the artwork matches up great. You even have the plate with the apple lining up, for God's sake. I mean, that's insane to have that. We have it make so much sense. It's such a good artwork. Having it be where the background and the foreground go together, having it just easy S tier. There's a reason why this looks so good next to each other. Easily deserves to be together up there. Blitzel. This is a lot like the Belly Bolt, but better. Instead of it just being a single one sitting there with a light where it has nothing, having a second one makes it look a lot better. It does. Now, this still isn't a great one. I'm not going to sit here and act like this is a great one, but it looks really solid. Again, it makes sense with the flashes, with communication. The fact that they're in this tree has a very illustration-like feel. This is average to me, C. This is, there's a way to do this kind of style and have it be S tier. This isn't how you do it. You know what I mean? This is not how you do it. So we're going to put it in the S tier. I think it definitely deserves that. So, or not, you know what I mean? But this is C tier, so I'll go there. Now we have Joltik. This is a cute one. Having Joltik be on top of the Boltund, or not Boltund, Yapper, or I forgot its name. I was using one, I forgot it. Bottom line, having it on top of it, and even having the fur details is so nice. Just having those little parts of the fur going up makes it look so much better. Latching onto a Pokemon, sucking the static electricity, sticking the Yamper, right? Again, it goes right next to the whole Pokédex entry. It's still not one that I think is super intriguing, but I think this is an above average one. I think it's a B tier one. Now we have Esparthra. I'm not going to lie, I'm not really a huge fan of this one. I think this is the first weak one of the era, or not the era, but the set. Because when you look at it, it's like you're just like, what's going on? But this isn't like the Baxcalibur line where like that's the point. Is it's like what is going on? This is like they're trying to do something, but I don't know. It just I don't think this is super great having the one explosion down there. I think this is a weaker one. It still is not an F tier, but I think this is a D tier. This is the first weak illustration of this set. And now we have the the Gimme Ghoul. This is, of course, a lot. This one reminds you, of course, of the Pidgey. I believe the same artist. I don't remember for sure, but of course it's very similar. You have this huge, thick outline and everything. The Gimme Ghoul being there, in the chest. It's a nice one. I don't think this is insane. I think a lot of people I think some people overrate this a bit, but I think it's a solid one. It's a B tier to me. Groudon. This is great. It's a lot like Tyranitar. This one is, that we talked about a while ago. This is one that has a lot of hype and love behind it that deserves it. Having him be on this water, and the whole point, of course, is that this is a guy that just, wherever he goes, the land goes with him, right? So he's standing on lava, creating like obsidian on top of like an ocean with the volcanoes. It's a brilliantly done card. This is an easy S tier. Deserves that. Now the next one we have is going to be Mienshao. This is one that is unfathomably forgettable. I mean, seriously. There are so many people who have, done all these sets who probably don't even know this card exists. I'm just going to be honest. This is one where it just doesn't work. The bottom half is pointless. Like, the only thing that will be cut off is, the bottom parts of Mienshao's, like the purple parts. That's about it. You could easily just move it up a little bit, and then boom, you have a regular card. The bottom half is almost pointless. Yes, it being on a place where it could fall off and do a lot of damage to itself is okay. Not F tier, very close, but it's another D tier. Just not a good one. Now we have the Minior. This is a nice one. Minior, the whole point, right, is you have the different colors under the shell. Not a single one with a shell, but this one just broke its shell. You have all the colors falling down together. This is a really, really, really good one. I definitely love this one. Having the clouds of different colors is a nice touch as well. Really solid one. I think it's another A tier. It's so good. It looks like a meteor shower, like a star shower, coming down, all different colors because it makes sense. Love that one. Now Garganacl. The Explorer being in the bottom right, it's definitely a touch. I think it's pretty funny to hear that one. It'll heal these other people or other Pokemon. It makes a lot of sense. This is another one of the things pretty forgettable, but it's not bad forgettable. It's just forgettable. Having them all around him, of course, showing that this is, it's like a gentle giant sort of thing. It's a really, really nice touch. I think that this is one of those that definitely deserves to be up there in A tier. I don't think it's S tier. It's another really solid one. Now we have Slitherwing, the ancient version of Volcarona. And just like the other one, it is insanely mediocre. C tier. It's just like the Iron Moth. It's just okay. It's not great to me. So it's going to get C tier. Garbodor. Another one that's a bit forgettable that existed, but in terms of where this one goes exactly, having it be on top of the pile of trash makes a lot of sense. That's like the whole point of it. It's literally the trash Pokemon. Now, is it one of those where the bottom half is pointless? Not really, because of course it's the mountain, so you think you need it, but I think this is okay. I don't think this is incredible. I think this is C tier as well. Now, another really good one, the Yveltal. This is another really, really solid one. I do think this is slightly overhyped. And by slightly overhyped, I mean I don't think it's an S tier artwork. I think it's a great artwork, but I feel like the bottom half is not really necessary. If the flowers were clearly dying, like clearly, yes, the color is being sapped. That's the whole point. It's the color is being sapped. But it's not shown enough in my book, especially the flowers on the right. The flowers on the left, you at least have those gray and the bit of, the grass or the bushes at the bottom. But the ones on the right still look almost fine. If it was a bit more done, it'd be a bit higher, but I'm putting it in A tier. It's still great. Again, I think it's slightly overrated, but as always say, it's like the thing that, just because something's overrated doesn't mean it's bad. Overrated just means it's not as good as people say it is, meaning it's not an S tier artwork. A tier is still incredible, definitely deserves A tier. Again, I think it's a bit below the Mantike, still really good artwork though. Now we have the Morpeko. This is another fun artwork. The Staryu candy is the highlight. That is, in the Voltorb cookie. Those are the two real highlights. Having actual Pokemon on candies, which makes a lot of sense thematically from what they look like. This is really cute. This is a really solid one. I think this is another A tier. I don't think this is S tier. It's close. If you put this in S tier, I'm not gonna fight you. I would fight you a bit on the Veltal. I would not fight you with this one. Easy A tier is a cute, fun artwork. Brute Bonnet. This is a lot like the Baxcalibur. The Baxcalibur, I believe this is the same artist, I believe. Baxcalibur. I'm just looking this up really quick. Baxcalibur illustration rare. Because it looks so similar, right? Let's see. This one is done by Komiya. And this one is also done. Yep, it's the same one. It's one of those styles. You know how I feel about this one. This is going S tier. Like, his style is so good. It's just, I really like his style. I honestly think he might be my favorite artist. I really do mean that. Like, I know I realize, you know, like the Magikarp and, well, acting like Seismitoad. This stuff is just so, like, when you have this random artwork like this, it works. Having the Brute Bonnet just be there in the background actually works in this case, because it's just like a total, like, cluster F of stuff. I really like this one. S tier. Steelix. This is a solid one. Well, Nimbachoke we talked about in the last one. Having a Pokemon, doing a job, which makes a lot of sense. Having, you know, get people up top. Having the timbers and the girders around as well makes it look, you know, even better. Having all the workers here. It doesn't have this issue where it has the, you know, weird looking people. It's a solid artwork. I don't think this is earth shattering, but I think it's a B tier one. Really solid. Now you have Ferrothorn. Now, Ferrothorn, really like the Pokemon. Having it walk down, it's nice. It's a cute one, but it's one of those where it's just, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, it's one of those where it just feels like it's there, but not really making a lot of sense, but it's still a nice one. I'm not going to say you're complaining too much, but I think that because it just kind of feels like it's there, it has to be in C tier. So I'm going to put it there. Now, Aegislash. This is nice artwork. It's very simple, but it's one of those where the simplicity works for what it is, right? It looks like a sword in the stone kind of thing, right? Where it's perfectly placed on top of a stone, just right there. And you could infer it, this could be like a gravesite, you can infer it's a throne, which is what it looks like, it's a throne, obviously. It makes a lot of sense being there. I think this is a really nice artwork. I don't think this is S or A tier, but I think this is a B tier artwork. Now we have Apom. Little clay animation style. This is something that I remember so much, like the Heart Gold Soul Silver era. We just don't see this that often anymore. This is a really nice one. Now, the only issue is the bottom half is kind of pointless again. The bottom half, once you get past, you know, Apom with Berry, it's like pointless. But it's still really cute, really solid. I'm going to put it in B tier as well. Now you have Loudred. Loudred, having everything come around, it makes a lot of sense for the whole part. But to me, this artwork just doesn't do it for me. I think this is very similar to like the Toad School. It's a lot of stuff being put in to make it look like something's going on. But it's not. I get it. It's loud. You want to, you know, exude that. But you could have done this better with people, where it could have just been, you know, not really doing anything. It could be like just next to somebody or near it, and it's like barely talking, and you get that emotion with people. But I think it's okay. I don't think it's... No, I'm putting it in D tier. I'm not a fan of this one. I know maybe a hot take putting it there. Swablu. Cute. Like, just 4 letters, cute. Swablu being in the middle of all the Wingull, acting like it's one of the, you know, one of their own, and the one Wingull on the bottom. This is as cute as it gets. It's like, you know, it's like that Drake meme where it's like bro thinks he's on the team. This is a really nice one. Again, something simple. Having a single Wingull in the bottom left makes this card go from being, oh, the top half's great, the bottom half's pointless, to really, really good artwork. Borderline S, putting in A. Porygon Z. The hat is cute. The hat has a cute touch. Pikachu and Pokeball lights are really nice as well. Having this be like a gaming room with a Porygon Z makes a lot of sense, considering it, you know, makes sense to be there one. So I think that it definitely deserves to be on a higher tier. Even having the RGB lights is such a good touch. Like, they knew what they were doing with this one. The literal internet router being in the background, like, this is great. The Porygon, you have the entire Porygon evolution line, like figurines, and the right side. This is a great one. This is another A tier one for me. Really, really solid one. Now we have Cyclozar. This one is one where the bottom half really hurts this card. It doesn't need the bottom half. You could take away the one that's sleeping, put the top 3, or even just the middle 2, put it in a regular card art, and then boom, you got a card. But the top half is still really solid. Again, it shows the point that, you know, these are traveling Pokemon. People use them. But I think the bottom half really hurts this one, puts in C tier. Now I have Iron Jugulus. It's just up, you know, flying in the air, above everything. Not a huge fan of this one. This is not one. This is one of those where having the little one really doesn't work for me. Like, it just feels like you're putting it somewhere. I think this is the only, like, really bad one. I'm having to put an F tier. I'm just not a fan of it. So in terms of regular illustration rares, my god, this is easily the best set we've talked about so far. The amount of really good cards, like, so many of these would be, like, top 5 in other sets. The Morpeko, the Yveltal, the Garnicle, the Minior, Mantike, even the Velos, like, this A tier is loaded. Even the B tier has so many solid ones. Like, I know a lot of people probably the Gimmighoul or even Aegislash higher, maybe even A-Bomb. Like, this is really good. Only one really poor one and 3 that are D, but they're not even, like, these aren't the worst D tier cards. This is up there, but these two really aren't the worst D tier cards. So in terms of regular illustration rares, incredible set. Now let's talk about the special illustration rares and see if they continue it. Starting with the Garchomp EX. When this set got first announced, this is the card everybody thought was going to be the chase card, then it ended up not being this one. And even for SIRs, it wasn't this one. I really like this one. I think that this and the Charizard are a fantastic pair to put together. I wish they would have kept doing things like this. Having the Terra SIRs being just the Pokemon with the hat, with the crystals. Make it insanely clear that when you terrestrialize, you are like crystallizing your Pokemon. There are so many of them that I don't feel like do that well that we see in the future. This one is another really good one. I know this might be a hot take. I think it's S tier. I think it's a great one. I really like this one. The Charizard, they're really nice. Golisopod. Not the biggest fan of this one, honestly. Like, it's not done well enough to be like, oh, this is clearly where the Wimpods were. It's pretty easy to see that that's what they're going with, but it's not like it's done perfectly clear. I'm just not the biggest fan of this one. I don't think this is... I'm not putting it in detail. I'm not a fan of this one. I'm just not. Tapu Koko EX. This is one I forgot that existed. Really nice style. It's got like a very unique kind of style. Again, it's very similar like the Magby one. Bottom half being pointless hurts this one. Not the biggest fan. I think it's C tier. And now the Iron Hands. Man, I hate this Pokemon. And by hate it, I mean I hate it in the guard game. I really hate Ampy very much. It's such a stupid attack. I could almost make a whole video about how I hate this attack and how this, like... This is one of those cards where I feel it's like Dragapult and Monkey Dory. Like, Frostlass to an extent, but really this one, Monkey Dory, and Dragapult, like the big three of like, man, you're really using one of those ones. Like, come on now. Over for the artwork, it actually works really well. Having him just continuously going through all these walls, breaking through all of them is such a nice artwork. Because it just keeps going, and it allows the bottom half to actually work. Because it's like he's going to go after this other one. So it actually works having the bottom half there. This is a really solid one. I think this is an A tier. Now I have Iron Valiant. This is pretty solid. It's hilarious that it honestly looks that this looks like Iron Moth better. I mean, makes Iron Moth look better. I know that in a weird way kind of makes Iron Moth look a bit different, but this is a nice one. Having Iron Valiant have this sort of, you know, like regal-ish, like I guess aura farming position everywhere. Having like the iron bundles in the front, foreground, and background. I think this is actually a pretty solid one, all things considered. I don't think this is incredible. I think this is a solid B tier one, though, so we're going to put it up there. Now, Sandy Shocks. Not a big fan of this one. Bottom half, legit pointless. Now, yes, I know the whole point is like they walk on this stuff, and in that front, yes, it makes sense to an extent. It's just in so many ways as a Pokemon that I'm not a huge fan of, like in so many ways, because like it's so weird to think like there would be an ancient... Magneton, like, really? But overall, though, okay, not trying to be like that. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of this artwork at all. I think this is another really weak one. I think it's another F tier. This is the only other one I think that's gonna go in F, but I think it deserves that. Now we have the Roaring Moon EX. This is a nice one. Having all the other ancient Pokemon around it, seeing Roaring Moon, you know, have this huge gust of wind going around it, affecting the, I forgot what they're called, but the Screamtail and then the Ancient Misdreavus is really nice. I think this is a really, really cool artwork in that sense. Even the Sandy Shocks being the background, looking like it's taking it, and the Brute Bonnet just not even caring. The Slitherwing in the background, it's a really nice artwork. Do I think it's S tier? No, but I think it's an A tier. Another really, really solid one. Gimmighoul EX. Not really gonna spend much time talking about this. This is going right next to the Gimme Goal and B tier. I think that it is legit the same artwork, obviously. As I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Gimme Goal. I think it's a bit overrated. It's still good, but the input there. Now Altaria. I mean, like, come on. I think you can look at this, know what I said earlier, and know exactly where this one is going. Going right to the S tier. Continuing the Swablu story and having it evolve and be the only one to evolve is such a cute, and it actually makes a lot of sense. You know, like Swablu was like in the super speed group to like get XP, so it actually makes sense that it could evolve first, especially being the special one, being the one that ends up trying to take over or be like the lead guy in a sense. It's great. I think continuing that story is fantastic. I could even argue moving the Swablu up to S tier as well, but definitely deserves that one. So huge. So there's the Pokemon SIRs. Overall, it's a really mixed bag. You have a couple pretty weak ones, really like 3 weak ones, and then a couple really strong ones. Trainers, we have Mela. This is honestly a really nice one. I think this is a really nice one. I think that is I think it's hilarious that as soon as the whole waifu craze ended, this came out. I think this is honestly the nicest looking of like all of them that we talked about. Like I think compared to like the Iono, the Miriam, and the Erica's Invitation, I think this is the best one of all of them. Is it an S tier? It's close. The Torkoal being there is nice. I think that the background is good. I don't think it's S tier. I don't think it's as good as Giovanni's Charisma, but it's going to go in A tier. Now, Parasol Lady, another one where it's like, wow, really? This got an SIR? Though, in terms of being a Parasol Lady, makes a lot of sense. Having the little raindrops, sparkles around it, the rainbow in the background, and clearly like sun showering / starting to stop raining. It's a really nice artwork, but at the end of the day, I think it's a B tier. Now, Professor Sada's Vitality. Having her, it's clearly not like reading a story, but, reading a book next to 2 of her Pokemon, or 3 of her Pokemon, it's a nice one. I think that compared to the one we're going to talk about next, I think this is a better one. I don't think this is as good as the Mela. I think it's another B tier one. It's solid. Now, Toro's scenario, not as good. Not nearly as good. The him just researching with Cyclozar in the background. Yes, the use of a book versus a computer makes a lot of sense in regards to the past versus future mentality the two have. But for Toro, I'm just not a huge fan of this one. I think this is a D tier one. I think it's a weaker trainer one, honestly, so it's going to go there. Now, Rika. Rika, one of the more iconic characters from the Scarlet and Violet games. In terms of this one, it just feels like, we're just going to put Rika on a street corner, or not street corner. Like, doesn't really fit anything. This is average you can get. Like, there's nothing to really complain about this card. Just, like, it would have made more sense to have it be, like, in the Pokemon League, beginning where they do the interview and all that, but whatever, we're going to put it there. Tulip. Really nice artwork. I mean, this is a really nice one. Having her do makeup to another one, or to another character from the school, it's a nice touch. Shows some camaraderie. Having her do this, it's a really nice one. I think that the overall illustration is nice as well. I think this deserves to be next to the Mela. I think it's a really solid one, so we're going to put it there. And overall, that'll do it. Yes, there's the 2 other bottom, but those are the ETB ones. Not counting those for this tier list. Though they'd probably be in more the mid area. But in terms of this one, Paradox Rift, honestly, I think is one of the most, if not the most, underappreciated sets of the entire era. The amount of just really good illustrations in the set is insane. Now, yes, is there a traditional, true, big chase card? From a value-wise, not really, right? There's not one mega insane, super good, high-dollar card. Like, the Groudon's been routinely the most expensive card, and it's not even worth a ton. But overall, there's so many good illustrations in the set. There's so few just poor ones. It's insane. Because, again, it's not just the amount of how many are in A or B tier. It's relative to where in the tier list compared to other ones. Like, if you were to do a tier list comparing all 4 sets we've talked about, or all 5 sets we talked about, actually, the amount of these that would be in, like, the high A tier versus the low A tier is insane. Same with B tier. Like, so many of these cards that are B tier would feel like A tier cards in other sets, and so many A tiers would feel like S tiers. And in terms of S tiers, you got so many. Because you could easily move them. Like, there's a lot of people who would put Swablu in S, who would put the Morpeko in S, even the Minior maybe, the Mantike. I mean, so many good ones. I think this is overall a very, very, very great set. I think this deserves a lot more recognition than it's getting. I think that it's one that, if you were to try and get a set done like now, if you were to build one set, this is one I would recommend. I feel like this is one that is still, relatively affordable, especially compared to like not having a mega chase card. And when you consider how many good illustration rares there are, it's just, this is such a nice one. But overall, that'll do it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when I upload any videos. Like the video as well, as of course it helps the algorithm, and comment down below what you think about the tier list. What do you agree on? What would you change? And of course, it's going to be pretty interesting doing some of these other sets that are, we're getting closer and closer to that era of the, nobody could get product, which is a pretty wild era, which really starts, like Surging Sparks really was like the first big one. So we're getting closer and closer to those sets, but we still got some more of the mid-era Scarlet and Violet sets, and of course Paul Dane Fates is coming up soon, big set there. And as always, guys, have a great night.